This is the procedure to replace a fuel filter for a 2008 ML320 CDI. And first thing you want to do is remove the engine cover. And you do that by just lifting it off, just like that. It's very easy, not as hard as a lot of people think. And now, where is this bad baby we want to replace? Well, we'll show you. It is right there. So we got to take a few things off before we get to it. One being the air filter boxes, which allow us clear access. So we have one on each side of the engine. And you're looking at how are we supposed to replace that air filter? Well, you can't replace it in its place. You have to remove the whole assembly here. So this has to be removed. And this side here has to be removed. And that'll allow this part here to give us some room to get at the actual fuel filter. Okay, back in a minute. Okay, to continue on, we're still trying to get at the fuel filter. We have to remove this plenum right here. This plenum comes off once we undo this gear clamp, undo that gear clamp, and undo that gear clamp. Then once you have those undone, you take out the plugs. The plugs you squish together here like this, pull straight back, and it comes off. Same on this side. We have one here also. And looks like there one would be at the back as we're pulling off the nozzle. So when you take off this gear clamp too, tip it up like that. Tip it up and pull it back. And that'll release it from the actual boxes of the air filter. Just like that. Cool, eh? And then continue on, and then you have it in your hand, which will give you a little more space now to get after the fuel filter. And while we're at it, we're probably going to replace the air filter boxes, the filters. There's one screw goes in here, you take that off. And there's one screw here that's permanent there that you take out from the back. And it just sits there once you've undone it, and this will allow this box to actually come up also. And then we replace it once we get it on the bench. Okay, there's that turbo. It looks like there's oil there too. I wonder how much oil is acceptable. Interesting, I might find that out. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, don't forget you have to actually take this off also in order to get the air box out. Right now I have the air box all loose because we have those two bolts we've taken off and the intake plenum. Now we've just got to take a bolt off here on top, as well as the bolt that's in the back over there. And that'll allow this inspection cover to come off, as you can see, which now gives us access to the air box. We can pull it right out. And we just take it to the bench. And remove those bolts here. Dunk, dunk. And to replace the air filter. Don't forget, we also have one on the other side while we're here. We're just gaining extra space too to work. So you have, again, this bolt here you have to take off. Give you some warranty. Sorry about the shakiness here, but it's the first iPhone video. And then again, there's one at the back here that you can't really see. You can only feel it though with a nice short stubby extension and the ratchet wrench. You can get in there. And I believe that's 8mm socket on that. And then again, removing this cowling here, this portion of the cover, after you take this off, you can get at it easily. And that'll give you access in order to take this off the rest of the way. In fact, we may be able to do that without it, but we're just doing it by braille. This is the braille method of replacing the air filter / the fuel filter. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, there's the fuel filter. Unplug the water sensor, the moisture sensor. Just push on the tab on the side and pull it out, the actual connector. From here you want to get a T20 socket to remove the two bolts on either side of the water sensor. And you also want to cut off the clamps, the C-clamps that were on there. Very easily done. You just get some side cutters and just clip them off. That's easily done. And from there, then we got to take this bolt off here and this bolt off here, and that should take the canister right out of the vehicle. Just be careful of the diesel that may spill over. Have some rags available so that you can sop it up rather than have it drop into the engine and make a mess that you really don't want. So I just had one concern here. I was just checking the turbo, and I noticed that there's a bit of play in the actual turbine itself. So I'm going to check to see what acceptable play is on this actual unit. To me, it may be right on the limit. But anyway, there was a little bit of oil in there. Nothing to get too worried about. At any rate, as we go along, we're also looking for little faults here and there, and something that may need our attention. So next step now is for me to take the T20, take these two bolts off the sensor, remove that, and then take the two mounting bracket bolts there, and replace it on the bench. I'm also going to fill in the new one. I'm going to fill a new one with diesel fuel to help eliminate as much bubbles as I can, so that the system doesn't have to work too hard in priming it. So, okay, we'll be back. We're getting there. Okay, guys, here's the update. There's the old filter here. Here's the new filter. And to take out the water sensor here from the old one, you'll have to use a little bit of a screwdriver to go underneath and gently work the tabs of the sensor off the body of the fuel filter. And that'll release it, and you pull it straight up, and you'll have the sensor in your hand. Be sure to replace these O-rings here, which comes with the new filter. You replace those O-rings, then you fill the filter up with fuel. I just got my little gas can, filled it with a little bit of diesel fuel, and filled her up, and then replace the sensor in there. Now, as you're pushing in the sensor into the filter, since the seals are fresh and not crushed, there's be a little bit of difficulty pushing it into the actual filter. So once you get it to the final 1/4 inch, take a socket like this and push it over top, and then just give it a quick wrap with your hand, pushing it straight down into the filter. Make sure it's straight and square. You don't want to crack it, because I'm sure that sensor is very expensive. So it just pops down into place. Once that gets there, at that point you kind of twist it until it locks underneath the tabs, and then replace with the torque spits, the T20s. And then don't forget also, you have to replace and put in a new vent filler on the very top. And then we're into now, well, we'll be putting it back in the vehicle. Make sure when you're replacing this filter in the clamp that you know the direction. It's going to save you a lot of headache later, because if you put it in the wrong way, you can't tighten this when it's in the vehicle. It's just too hard. So note the way you took off the old one and line it up with a tab here. I just took this big output here and lined it up with this mounting bracket, and that was my indicator of where it's going to go back into it again. So we're getting there. Not so bad so far. So far so good. And we'll be back in a minute. Ciao. Okay, there's the new filter almost installed. The tougher part was to install these hoses here. I've used the Oetiker 2-eared clamp system here, which are fairly easy to use and readily available in a kit, actually. Getting the hose over the pipe, just dab a little bit of diesel fuel on the hose, and it works in there nice. Make sure it bottoms out with the plastic tab in the back so you're on deep enough. Same with the small pipe also. At this point now, I'm just going to put in the bolts here, here, and here. And from there, then we're starting to reassemble it. And oh yeah, when you're tightening up the torque screws here, do not over tighten. These are not there to hold down anything. They're just there to hold it in place. The actual seals does the sealing, so as long as this is in place, and it'll never move because these screws are in the way, it'll never leak. So anyway, on with the show, and we'll continue on. Here's my air filter. I'm not sure when the last time I bought this used and there was 39,000 kilometers on it when I bought it used. And I'm not sure if he's had the, he said he had all the maintenance stuff done. I'm not sure when the first interval is for the air filter. But anyway, as you can see, this one's a mess, a dog's breakfast, and absolutely will affect performance. So you take a T25 at these bolts, at those screws there, zipped it out, very quick, and again, just pry that out, replace it with a new one, and then we'll continue on replacing it into its actual holder. Okay, we're continuing on. We've replaced the fuel filter now. Now we got to reassembling the air filter boxes. We replaced the air filters. Note that there are two different air filters, one for the left and one for the right. They are different, so replace as you see as you take them out. One has a screen in front of it. I think it's for the airflow meter or the map sensor. At any rate, make sure when you're putting the boxes back in, you see these grommets down here. There's little posts on the box, this post here, and then there's another post on this side here. They've got to go in to the grommet, and that supports the box from the bottom. And in the top we have a screw here, and then a screw on this side also that it comes right out. This screw stays in place. So again, we have it on this side also, the same dealio. You see the grommet down there? That's where the plenum's going to sit in. And this one's a little farther down there. Sorry about the light, guys. So we're getting there. Continue on. Sorry for the choppiness, but it's all about doing it methodically and taking your time, and we'll get this done in due time and save a bunch of money. Good. We're almost there. Okay. We got her installed now. This guy here was the toughest to install. As you're looking at the engine, if you kind of put it in the left side first, put it on this side first, and this horn right here, and then feed it onto the main intake to the turbo on an angle like this, and kind of push it down that way, and maintaining this boot on this side. It's kind of one of those things where you have to kind of hold your tongue one way, hold your fingers another way, and kind of push at the same time, and pushing down onto the actual horn. It is doable, obviously, because I've done it. It just takes a little bit of time and patience. And know the only limitation is your doubting ability. So don't doubt your ability, and just do it one step at a time, and it really is fairly simple. Now the test is we're going to start her up, and it may take a few times to start because we're actually priming the rest of the fuel filter up to the very top, so it may take a couple starts. But aside from that, there's the combination of replacing the fuel filter, and then we're going to check for leaks too. Changing the fuel filter and the air filter, left and right, and easy peasy. Okay, I hope you can have fun. I hope this video helps. Take care. Watch your hands, watch your fingers. Make sure no one's in the cockpit as you're installing things, so they don't inadvertently turn on the key which activates the fuel pump. That could be disastrous too. So take your time. Take out the morning. I think I've taken maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours at it. It's not so bad, guys. Take care. Bye, man. Here, guys, there it is running. It was effortless. As soon as I put on the key, blow the plugs a little bit, turn the key, it fired up right away without hesitation. Did not stall whatsoever, and it was no other thing needed, basically. So I was thinking maybe it had to bleed it off a little bit more, but really it's a lot easier than a lot of the Toyotas out there. Anyway, I hope you had fun. We're just checking for leaks now. And it looks good. It sounds good. Well, let me see now. Here. And the best part is, we've saved a ton of money also. Anyway, total parts Canadian for the air filter, fuel filter, oil filter, and oil of $10 a liter. Holy crap. Total was $305. So I imagine the dealer wanted more like $800 to do all this work. So we get to spend $500 on something we like to have. We will. See ya. Bye.